The final battle was unlike any humanity had ever fought. It was not a battle for superiority, nor for domination. It was a fight for survival, for freedom, for existence. The Galactic Council's forces arrived in full force, their fleets a shimmering wall of advanced weaponry and shields, designed to crush humanity once and for all. The humans, with their smaller fleets and limited resources, knew the odds were stacked against them. But they had learned, through every defeat and every victory in their history, that sheer numbers or advanced technology were never the deciding factor in a fight. It was will, it was spirit, and it was the relentless human drive to defy what seemed impossible. As the battle raged across the stars, humanity's warships danced through the cosmos, evading enemy fire with impossible agility, striking with precision. Human tactics, though unconventional, were designed to exploit the Council's arrogance, its belief that they could overwhelm humanity with ease. The humans never fought head-on. Instead, they used the element of surprise, exploiting weaknesses, striking from unexpected angles. They didn't rely on the raw power of their ships, but on the raw power of their minds, their ability to adapt and to outthink their enemies. For every victory, there was a cost. Every human ship that fell, every soldier lost, was a brutal reminder of the high price of resistance. But the tide was slowly turning. The Council had expected a quick, decisive victory, but humanity's unpredictable tactics, combined with their unbreakable resolve, began to erode the confidence of their adversaries. The human spirit could not be crushed by overwhelming force, and the longer the battle went on, the more the Council's leaders began to question whether they had miscalculated. It was then that the twist came, a maneuver so daring, so unexpected, that it left the Council scrambling. Humanity, always underestimated, had been working on something in secret, a weapon that could destabilize the very fabric of the Council's advanced technology. It was a system, derived from their research into quantum physics and artificial intelligence, that allowed them to create a disruption in the Council's communication networks and defense systems. As the Council's forces were busy locking down their fleets, humanity launched a counterattack that sent shockwaves through their systems. The balance of power, once tipped overwhelmingly in favor of the Council, now shifted. The weapon wasn't just technological, it was a statement. Humanity was no longer a helpless species to be crushed, it was a force to be reckoned with. As the battle reached its crescendo, the tide had unmistakably turned. The Council, caught off guard by the sudden power of human ingenuity, was forced to retreat. What had seemed inevitable, a swift and decisive victory for the Galactic Council, was no longer so. The humans, with their courage, resilience, and unwavering defiance, had proven themselves capable of fighting back against even the most daunting of foes. In the aftermath, the stars were quieter, as the remains of the Council's once mighty fleet drifted in the cosmic silence. Humanity, battered but unbroken, stood victorious. Yet the victory was not just military, it was existential. Earth's place in the galaxy had shifted forever. The Galactic Council, once so sure of their superiority, now understood that humanity was no longer a species to be dismissed. They had been forced to recognize humanity's greatest strength, the capacity to survive, to innovate, and to defy the odds when it seemed impossible. But while Earth celebrated, there was little triumphalism. The victory was hard-earned, and the scars of war were still fresh. Many lives had been lost, both human and alien, and there was no sense of complacency. The battle had been won, but the war had only revealed a deeper truth, that humanity's place in the galaxy had been won not through sheer might, but through the strength of their spirit and the unity of their people when it mattered most. In the quiet after the storm, as humanity reflected on their improbable victory, the reality of their situation began to set in. The Council, humbled and wary, may have been defeated, but they had not been destroyed. The galaxy was still a vast and dangerous place, and many other threats lurked beyond the stars. Humanity had earned its place, but the universe was still full of challenges. Yet, as humanity looked up at the stars, there was no fear in their hearts. The same spirit that had driven them to fight for survival, the same will that had kept them standing when the odds were stacked against them, would carry them forward. The final battle had been won, But it was only the beginning. The galaxy had learned that humans were not a species to be taken lightly, and that their adaptability, resilience, and relentless defiance were forces that could shape the future of the stars. As the leaders of Earth stood in the aftermath, looking toward a future that was now open to them in ways they had never imagined, the question that hung in the air was simple: what next? Humanity's victory had opened a door, but beyond that door lay an uncertain future. What would they do with this newfound place in the galaxy? What challenges would they face, and what alliances would they forge? The Council had been humbled, but they were not gone, and new threats would arise. Yet one thing was certain: humanity would meet whatever came next with the same fierce determination that had driven them to triumph in the first place. The stars beckoned, and humanity, now united and unbroken, was ready to answer the call. The final reflection was this: humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or their technology. It was in their spirit, the unyielding, undying will to fight for their place in the universe, no matter the cost. And as Earth's gaze turned toward the stars, the story was far from over. What awaited them in the vast unknown would be decided not by the powerful fleets of the Council, but by the hearts and minds of humanity itself. The catalyst came unexpectedly, in the form of a sudden, brutal attack. It wasn't the first time humans had been threatened. Skirmishes and tensions were part of life in a galaxy where the strong ruled. But this time, the attack wasn't an isolated incident. It wasn't some random raid by space pirates, or a minor conflict. This time, it was a coordinated assault by one of the most powerful and technologically advanced empires in the galaxy, the Calthar Dominion. They had underestimated humanity for centuries, and their patience had run out. A series of border skirmishes escalated into a full-scale assault on human colonies along the Outer Rim. The Calthar believed that humanity would bow to their superior strength, that the colonies would fall without a fight. But they were wrong. The humans had been ready for something like this, though they had hoped it would never come. Their colonies had long since outgrown the protection of Earth's military, relying instead on their own growing fleets and resources. Yet, when the Calthar attacked, they saw what had been concealed for so long. Humanity was not the helpless prey they had imagined. In an act of brutal defiance, Earth's fleet, once thought outdated and underpowered, mobilized quickly. Within hours, ships that had been dismissed as relics of the past were launched into battle. The human forces may have been outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought with a ferocity, ingenuity, and tactical brilliance that left the Calthar stunned. In a matter of days, the battle turned in humanity's favor. The Calthar, expecting a quick victory, found themselves bogged down by human resourcefulness, unexpected tactics, guerrilla warfare, and traps that pushed their vast armada to the breaking point. It was not just a military victory. It was a statement. The Calthar Dominion had miscalculated humanity's resilience, and the entire galaxy began to take notice. What began as a desperate struggle for survival turned into a brilliant display of power. The galaxy's perception of humanity shifted almost overnight. For the first time, they realized that humans were not weak. They were not primitive. They were survivors. And that was the most dangerous thing to underestimate in a universe full of predators. But the victory was only the beginning. What truly stunned the galaxy was what happened next. Rather than retreating back into their corner of the galaxy, humanity took the offensive. They no longer hid their true power. Within weeks, humanity's best and brightest, scientists, engineers, and military strategists, had pulled off a series of technological breakthroughs that sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Calthar, reeling from their loss, thought they had simply been outwitted in a skirmish. They didn't yet understand that humanity had just begun to reveal its full strength. Humanity unleashed its most advanced weapons and technologies, unseen by the galaxy until that point. The most powerful battleships humanity had ever built, ships cloaked in stealth technology and armed with devastating weapons, were deployed in waves, striking fear into the hearts of even the most powerful alien fleets. Humans had been holding back, keeping their most advanced creations hidden in the shadows, far from prying eyes. Now they revealed them all. The shock was immediate. Alien species that had long seen humans as nothing more than a nuisance were forced to reevaluate everything they thought they knew. How had they kept this level of technological sophistication hidden for so long? What other surprises were they concealing? Humanity's strategic brilliance became evident in ways the galaxy had never anticipated. In battle after battle, they outmaneuvered fleets that had once been deemed untouchable. Humans had an uncanny ability to adapt, to think on their feet, to overcome impossible odds. Every defeat, every skirmish, had only made them more capable. It wasn't just the technology or the military strategy that set them apart, it was their refusal to surrender, their ingenuity in the face of impossible circumstances. The Calther Empire had learned that lesson the hard way, and soon every other galactic power was learning it as well. The galaxy had been so certain of its superiority that it never considered the possibility that humanity was hiding something far greater. The full scale of humanity's military might, technological prowess, and tactical genius was now laid bare for the universe to see. The revelation sent a ripple through the power structure of the galaxy. Older civilizations, which had once considered humanity an insignificant blip, now found themselves in a new reality. Humans were not just surviving in the shadows, they were thriving, and their strength was undeniable. The galaxy's elite, who had dismissed humanity as primitive and weak, now stood on the edge of a precipice. The illusion was shattered. Humanity's time of pretending to be something lesser had ended. They had revealed not just their weapons, but their resilience, their adaptability, and their ability to fight back when pushed to the brink. And for the first time, the galaxy knew, humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The attack on the colonies, which had once seemed like an act of unwarranted aggression, had set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of the galaxy. The Calther were only the first to feel humanity's wrath. Soon, all those who had underestimated them would learn the same lesson. Humanity's true potential had been unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy's understanding of humanity shifted dramatically as the full extent of their capabilities became undeniable. What had once been regarded as primitive, outdated technology was revealed to be far more advanced than any alien species had dared to imagine. Humanity's ships, sleek and designed for stealth and speed, outclassed anything the galaxy had seen before. They weren't just equipped with superior weaponry, they were outfitted with technology that had remained secret until now. Alien empires, which had long relied on their own technological prowess to maintain dominance, suddenly found themselves outmatched in both firepower and innovation. Human engineers had developed advanced cloaking systems that rendered their ships virtually invisible, making even the most powerful alien sensors useless. Their weapons, once thought to be primitive by galactic standards, were now capable of tearing through the hulls of even the most resilient alien battleships with ease. And their AI, something that had been a closely guarded secret for decades, was far more advanced than anything the galaxy had known. It was capable of real-time tactical analysis, anticipating enemy moves and providing human commanders with an unparalleled advantage in battle. The true nature of humanity's technological mastery wasn't just in their ships and weapons, it was in the sheer breadth of their ingenuity. Their ability to adapt existing technologies and innovate on the fly left every other species scrambling to catch up. What had once been dismissed as science fiction became a reality in the hands of human engineers and scientists. Entire fleets of advanced warships, capable of hyper-fast travel and unparalleled combat effectiveness, appeared seemingly overnight. These ships were not just weapons, they were symbols of humanity's rise to power. The galaxy, once certain of its superiority, was forced to watch as humanity's technological revolution shook the foundations of the status quo. But technology alone was not what made humanity such a formidable force. The true brilliance of humanity lay in its strategic genius. While other species relied on their sheer numbers or overwhelming firepower, humans had always been outnumbered, outgunned, and underestimated. And yet, time and time again, they proved that they didn't need to fight fair. Humanity had spent centuries studying the galactic power structure, learning the intricacies of diplomacy, politics, and warfare. They understood the weaknesses of the established empires better than those empires understood their own strengths. This knowledge became their greatest weapon in both war and peace. Human commanders didn't just rely on brute force. They used strategy, cunning, and a deep understanding of their enemy's psychology to outmaneuver even the most seasoned military leaders in the galaxy. While alien forces may have been more experienced, they lacked the adaptability and creativity that humanity possessed in spades. In every conflict, humans found ways to exploit the weaknesses in their opponent's strategies, creating opportunities where none existed. They turned the tables on the galaxy's established powers with a combination of bold tactics and careful planning, showing the universe that they were not to be underestimated. In battle, human ships would outsmart alien forces by exploiting tactical gaps, using the element of surprise, and leveraging their technological superiority to create chaos in enemy ranks. No matter how entrenched the enemy, humanity's ability to think beyond the conventional gave them the upper hand. But it wasn't just on the battlefield that humanity showed their brilliance. Humanity also mastered the art of psychological warfare, a tactic that made them even more dangerous. While other species relied on their overwhelming force or advanced technology to win battles, humans understood something far more crucial: the power of the mind. They knew that warfare was not just about destroying the enemy, it was about breaking their spirit. Humanity's resilience and ability to adapt under pressure became their greatest psychological weapon. They understood the fears and motivations of their enemies better than the enemies understood themselves. Human commanders learned how to manipulate those fears, creating uncertainty and distrust within the ranks of even the most unified alien coalitions. Human troops, hardened by centuries of struggle, were able to endure hardship and persevere in ways that shattered the morale of those who opposed them. The more an alien force fought humanity, the more it became apparent that humans were not only relentless in combat, they were relentless in their will to win. This mental fortitude gave humanity a psychological edge that no fleet or weapon could match. As the galaxy witnessed these unprecedented victories, humanity began to emerge as an unstoppable force. Their first major victory was a turning point in galactic history. The conquest of the Valor system, once considered an impenetrable fortress held by one of the most powerful alien coalitions, was humanity's defining moment. It wasn't just a military victory, it was a statement. A system once thought untouchable was now under human control, and the galaxy knew that humanity was no longer the underdog. The Valor system was a critical nexus in the galaxy's trade and military routes, and its loss to humanity sent shockwaves through the political landscape. The galactic powers that had long thought of humans as a fringe species realized that they were now facing a serious player on the galactic stage. The victory didn't come through sheer military force alone. It was the result of months of strategic planning, psychological manipulation, and technological superiority. The Valor Coalition, despite its vast resources, was no match for the cunning and advanced tactics that humanity employed. With this victory, humanity established itself as a dominant force in the galaxy. No longer would they be dismissed as insignificant. The balance of power had shifted, and the established galactic powers were forced to confront the reality that they had underestimated humanity for far too long. Humanity wasn't just another species vying for a place in the galaxy. They were now a force capable of reshaping the galaxy itself. The arrogance of the galaxy's elite, once so sure of their unchallenged supremacy, began to crumble. And humanity, no longer hiding in the shadows, was ready to take its place as a leader on the galactic stage. The galaxy's great empires, once proud and unchallenged, began to crumble in the wake of humanity's sudden and undeniable rise. Those who had ruled with iron fists and commanded the stars for millennia found themselves caught in a storm of change that they were ill-prepared for. The once dominant Calther Dominion, which had assumed that humanity's victory was a fluke, quickly discovered that they were outmatched by humanity's relentless pursuit of power. Their fleets were broken, their colonies lost, and their political influence shattered as humanity's forces pushed further into their territories, reclaiming systems once thought secure. Other empires followed suit. Once stable governments and fleets now found themselves fighting on multiple fronts, struggling to hold what little ground they had left. Some attempted to negotiate with humanity, seeking terms of peace and attempting to appease them with offers of trade and resources. But it was too late. Humanity no longer viewed these empires as equals. They were conquerors now, and their demands were no longer negotiable. For others, negotiation was not an option. Some species, fearing their total annihilation, launched desperate counterattacks, hoping to quell humanity's rise with force. But what they failed to recognize was that humanity had already adapted, already learned to outsmart them at every turn. Every resistance effort, no matter how well coordinated, was met with the same result: defeat. Humanity's technological superiority, strategic genius, and psychological warfare were too much for these once mighty civilizations to overcome. One by one, they fell, some in bloody conflict, others without a fight, as their governments and leaders crumbled under the weight of humanity's unrelenting advance. In the end, many simply disappeared, swallowed by the storm humanity had unleashed. The power vacuum left behind was profound. As the old powers crumbled, the galactic hierarchy began to fracture. The balance that had kept the galaxy's political landscape stable for centuries was destroyed. Where once there had been a few towering empires controlling vast swathes of the galaxy, there was now chaos. Formerly dominant species, accustomed to their status and wealth, suddenly found themselves fearful. Fearful not just of human military might, but of human ingenuity and resilience. It was the unpredictability that made humanity so terrifying. They could not be easily understood, predicted, or controlled. The established order, which had been built on centuries of tradition and might, was now collapsing under the weight of humanity's willpower and innovation. Old alliances began to fracture as the galaxy's rulers scrambled to respond. Some sought to align with humanity, attempting to secure a place in the new order by offering diplomatic overtures. But humanity, having no need for alliances with those who had tried to suppress them for so long, rejected these overtures with disdain. Others, too proud or too desperate, tried to fight back, but it was clear that humanity was not interested in mere negotiation. The galaxy's traditional powers now had to confront a harsh truth: humanity was not just another species vying for control. They were reshaping the entire galaxy, and no amount of diplomacy or force could stop them. The power dynamics had irrevocably shifted. No longer were humanity's ideals of democracy, freedom, and equality the dream of a few outliers. Humanity's rise was the dawn of a new era, one where the values of egalitarianism and self-determination were set to become the foundation of the galaxy's new order. The long-standing systems of oppression and autocracy that had held sway over the galaxy for so long were beginning to dissolve. Where once humanity had been the outcasts, they were now the leaders, dictating the terms of the new galactic reality. Under their influence, new alliances began to form, alliances based not on power or domination, but on mutual respect and shared ideals. These were not the typical treaties of the old order, where the strongest dictated terms to the weak. No, humanity's vision for the galaxy was different. They were creating a new order, one that would push for peace, cooperation, and a collective future for all species, where no civilization would be left behind, and no species would be oppressed. It was a vision that terrified the old guard. They had maintained control through fear, manipulation, and brute force. But now, humanity's ideals of justice, equality, and unity were beginning to take root. They weren't simply fighting to conquer, they were fighting to liberate. And in the process, they were dismantling the very system that had kept the galaxy fractured for centuries. Slowly, but surely, humanity's influence spread throughout the galaxy, and with it came the collapse of the old order. The once united galactic powers, which had believed themselves unassailable, were now in disarray. In their desperation, they scrambled to respond to humanity's sudden rise. But the truth was inescapable: humanity had redefined the rules of power. No longer would military might alone dictate the future of the galaxy. Humanity's approach, combining military strength, technological superiority, and a new vision of governance, was slowly but surely creating a new galaxy, one that no longer adhered to the old norms. The galaxy's rulers had played the game for centuries, but now humanity wasn't just a player, they were the ones rewriting the rules. The established empires were left to either adapt or perish. For the first time in galactic history, the balance of power was no longer in the hands of the few, it was in the hands of humanity, a species that had once been dismissed, underestimated, and ignored. And as humanity's grip on the galaxy tightened, the former powers knew that the age of their dominance was over. Humanity's rise to power in the galaxy has always been about more than just conquest. With their true potential now realized, humanity looks to the stars not as a species bent on domination, but as a beacon for the future, a future built on the ideals of unity, progress, and a collective vision for all life across the galaxy. They now have the technology, the wisdom, and the resilience to lead an entirely new era, one where exploration and peace, not endless conflict, define the galactic age to come. The technology that was once hidden, the weapons that shocked the galaxy, are now part of a broader goal: to build a future where cooperation between species is not just possible, but inevitable. Humanity understands that power must be tempered with responsibility. Their vision isn't about imposing their will on the galaxy. It's about creating a new order where every species has a place, a future, and a voice in shaping the destiny of the stars. The old ways, of oppressive rule and authoritarian control, are gone. Humanity's strength is not simply in their ability to fight, but in their capacity to envision a better, more inclusive future. Looking back at humanity's history, its wars, struggles, and triumphs, it's clear how they arrived at this moment. Centuries of survival against overwhelming odds, of constantly being told they were too weak or too fragmented to stand a chance, have shaped them into a species unlike any other. From their first steps on Earth to the farthest reaches of the stars, humans have always had one core belief: that no matter the obstacle, they could find a way to overcome it. Every war, every hardship, every setback has only made them stronger, more adaptable, and more determined. It is this very resilience that defines their leadership. Humanity knows that to lead is not to rule, but to serve the greater good, to learn from the past, and to carry forward the lessons of survival and unity. Their strength isn't just in their technology, but in their ability to learn, adapt, and evolve in ways that other species could never imagine. They've lived through their darkest times, and now, they stand ready to guide others through their own struggles, showing them that no challenge is too great when faced with unity and resolve. As humanity takes its place at the forefront of the galaxy, the old order begins to dissolve, and with it, a new era emerges. The once powerful galactic empires that sought to dominate are now recalibrating, their power broken, and their once unyielding rule dismantled. A new, more inclusive galaxy is taking shape, one where cooperation, mutual respect, and shared resources are valued more than domination and exploitation. Humanity doesn't seek to replace the old powers. They aim to lift the entire galaxy to a higher standard. They begin by sharing their knowledge, their technology, and their expertise with the very species that once underestimated them. Instead of hoarding their advancements, humanity offers them as tools to raise the galactic standard. Their advanced medical technologies, their innovations in energy generation, and their groundbreaking AI systems are all available to those willing to work toward the common good. The galaxy begins to flourish in ways it never could under the old regime, and for the first time in history, a true sense of peace and prosperity begins to take root. And yet, as humanity leads the charge into this new era, the question remains: with all that they have accomplished, with all their strength, their resilience, their untapped potential now unleashed, will any species dare to challenge their might again? The galaxy stands on the edge of something unprecedented. Humanity, the species once dismissed, is now the engine driving a golden age of exploration, peace, and cooperation. But with their newfound power, will they continue to inspire hope and unity, or will their dominance sow the seeds of new conflict? The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: humanity will no longer hide its potential. The galaxy may have underestimated them once, but they will never do so again. As humanity charts a course toward the stars, they are not just the rulers of the galaxy, they are its stewards, its architects, and its most unlikely saviors. The universe is theirs to shape, and the possibilities are endless. And so, the galaxy looks to the future with both hope and fear, wondering if humanity's rise will be the dawn of a new era of peace, or the beginning of an entirely new chapter in the endless struggle for dominance? Will humanity's legacy be one of light, leading the galaxy into a golden age of understanding and cooperation, or will the weight of their power make them the new force to be reckoned with, feared as much as they are admired? Whatever the answer, humanity has proven that their place in the galaxy is no longer in question. They have unleashed their true power, and the galaxy will never be the same. The question remains, will the galaxy adapt to the new order, or will humanity's dominance become the defining feature of this new era? The future is open, but humanity is the one holding the key.